The movie I chose for Video Game Movie Month is Wing Commander, starring Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard, Jürgen Prochnow, and Checky Carew.
Pardon me if you can. Movie reviews.
The Terran Confederation, basically the humans, are at war with the alien race Kilrathi. The Kilrathis are heading to Earth with a massive starship armada. A small group of expert pilots go deep behind enemy lines to try and gain some vital information that will help foil the Kilrathi attack. Wing Commander came out in 1999 and was based on the popular video game series of the same name. The video game has been characterized by its creator as World War II in space. It is a space combat game where the player's decisions heavily affect the narrative of the story. So if, say, in one mission you lose a pilot, then the story shifts forward without that character anymore. Most video games you keep playing until you do the mission to a specific, often single goal. Wing Commander is a cult favorite, often praised for its elaborate story and its star-packed live-action cutscenes featuring Clive Owen, John Hurt, Christopher Walken, Malcolm McDowell, and Mark Hamill. The interesting thing about Wing Commander is that it was directed by the video game's creator, Chris Roberts, who experienced a lot of film directing from making the cutscenes to the popular video game series. This alone, I think, puts Wing Commander in a very special place when it comes to discussing video game adaptations of, movie adaptations of video games, I should say. First, I want to say that Wing Commander has a really great multinational cast. Jürgen Prochnow plays a Starship high-ranking officer, and there is some interesting throwback to his role in Das Boot, where the big starship is hiding in an asteroid and the Kilrathi are randomly dropping bombs in hope to flush them out. The starship is taking heavy hits, but still has to remain in stealth. It's exactly like the tense scenes in Das Boot, and it's great seeing Prochnow share scenes with Checky Carew, who is a very familiar European face. Notable films include GoldenEye, Bad Boys, and Kiss of the Dragon. And one of my personal favorite actors, David Warner, is in the film. For some reason, he's really notable to me for his role in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, and he played one of the major bad guys in Tron. He's actually a very grand Shakespearean actor. His most notable roles would be, of course, Titanic and Time Bandits, where he played the devil. The Freddie Prinze Jr. In this movie has been heavily criticized. Mainly, the main thrust of criticism is that he is completely out of place here. He brings the qualities of a teen character into a military science fiction action film. I personally didn't have any issues with Freddie Prinze Jr., but I do think the criticism is understandable. They introduce a chosen one element. Freddie Prinze Jr. is born with this supernatural gift to pilot spaceships in very difficult areas in space, something to do with his mother or something. It would have been really great to drop that entire subplot and just have Freddie Prinze Jr. as a really talented pilot and his late dad, who was a very good and respected soldier that served with the high-up commanders. That subplot weighs down the film really heavily, and you become more distant with Freddie Prinze Jr. because his backstory isn't really developed. If they had simplified that aspect of the story, I think Freddie Prinze Jr. would have been more relatable too. The other characters in the movie are really solid. The film does a really good job of creating the young hotshots, gung-ho, fighter pilot, Air Force guys. It recreates really good camaraderie between the guys, similar to Starship Troopers, and the female characters in this movie are as strong as the male characters, if not stronger, although I didn't notice any female characters in the military high-up commands in this world. We don't see the Kilrathi until towards the end of the film, and they are very stiff, but I think they do a very solid job at being the alien bad guys. A lot of fans were disappointed with the Kilrathi in this movie as they didn't match what they look like in the video games. Even the director Chris Roberts wasn't happy with how the puppetry worked out, but had to go with it due to time and budget. Personally, what I think would have been better was to never show the Kilrathi, just have them as this ominous, faceless enemy. The brief images we see of them didn't really reveal much about them other than they spoke a different language and that they are simply the bad guys. I think this would have worked out better, but the studio had to show them to at least, satisfy the video game fans, by showing the Kilrathi. Apparently there were large cut scenes that were cut from the original screenplay, but personally I didn't notice any major plot holes or loss to the story other than the undeveloped backstory of Freddie Prinze Jr. It's really unfortunate. Oh, by the way, this is the VHS copy of Wing Commander. I couldn't be bothered to get it on Blu-ray DVD, but it's really unfortunate there hasn't been a special edition Blu-ray or DVD release of the film showing these cutscenes and telling the story of the making of Wing Commander, because I think it would be a really interesting one to tell, and I would really love to hear from the director Chris Roberts, especially going from video games to directing a feature-length movie. Wing Commander isn't a bad film at all, especially when it comes to discussing video game adaptations to movies. It has really mature themes of sacrifice, prejudice, revelation, loss, and honor. The battle sequences were really exciting, and some of the special effects still hold up to this day. I think this is a very solid effort by first-time director Chris Roberts, and unfortunately this is his only film to date.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeyifyoucan.com.